we're gonna go ahead. Like I said, I didn't get every single page, but I got pages I feel were important to get my point across. Hopefully, you guys can follow along. I'll just make it big. I'll make it big. Can't see us, but you can hear us. So there it is. Isidora in the Immortal Chains. I already discussed how I think it's a stupid fucking name. Right? I'm going to try not to repeat all the talking points that EBS said on this first book. But some things have to be said, right? A lot of empty space on this fucking cover. For some reason, I would have stretched it out. Stretch it out all the way, cover everything, more debris, more chaos, more stuff. She doesn't look bad. Here's the weird thing, right? So her face looks normal-ish. Her nose is a little piggy-like. Yeah. But it looks normal-ish. When you get into the book, she's fucking ugly. Oh my God, like, and it's not like, oh, she's ugly in a way that like is interesting. It's like, oh, it's ugly in a way that's off-putting, and I don't want to look at this character that I'm supposed to be reading about, right?
Top that with her personality, and you have a terrible experience.
Terrible. All right. So here's the first page. This is an important page because it sets everything up, right? Chicago, United States. Third day of the waxing gibbous. Okay? What is that? What is the waxing gibbous? Well, gentlemen, that is a phase of the moon. Phases of the moon. Waxing is when it's heading towards full. Waning is when it's coming away from full. Right? So it's very specific. And I'm saying that I'm being very clear about why that this is important. It's very important because his artist is a fucking retard, and so is Lunga. Lunga, you approve this shit, okay? Gentlemen in the peanut gallery, what shape is a gibbous moon?
It's not like the crescent, but it's like not full.
Okay, so a gibbous moon is between half moon and full moon. Okay,
it's like a full moon, but a little bit shadow in there. Yeah.
This is very important, right? It's a very important plot point because Isidora is going to be at full power during the full moon, right? It says it in the book. It's very fucking important. So let's scroll ahead. Let's scroll ahead, guys. What's that?
Oh no!
Come on.
The fucking dialogue. Even in the dialogue, it says the king in yellow, also a duality of Hester. Technically, I'm on the same level as these Migo, but the king gifted me with far more power. It says I'm not ready to face Tiag. My power, that of the yellow sign, will be at its height on the full moon.
And she says full moon. Oh no!
Yeah. Because earlier in the book they talk about the gibbous moon. It's 3 days into until the full moon, right? She says that in the book, 3 days until the full moon, which means it should be mostly full, not mostly empty. Okay. Also, this is Chicago, which is the northern hemisphere, correct? Chicago's in the northern hemisphere?
Yes.
Okay. So this moon that she's looking at is a waxing crescent. It's a waxing crescent. Okay. So it's wrong. It's wrong. It's just completely wrong. Little details like that, guys. Come on.
Tony's an astrologist. I didn't know that.
I'm a who?
An astrologist?
No, astronomist. Astronomist. Not astrologist.
Astrologist is horoscopes.
Yeah. We don't deal with
that or a werewolf. He knows the cycles of the moon.
Tony's a moon stickler. Close enough. It's not close enough. It's a plot point of the book, right?
Like putting a full moon up there would at least been like, there could be
the
something
dialogue
there.
is saying it's a full moon, yet we're looking at the crescent moon. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Came for a comic review, Jedi Science List. Yeah. All right. So we were talking about this yesterday, so let me zoom in because I can do that.
Yeah, now we can.
So, like right there, missing line. There's a missing line. This bar just goes out to nowhere. And I'm assuming it's coming from this pole. It's hard to tell with the dialogue box. I don't know what this other line is. I guess that's part of the building. It just kind of disappears.
Yeah, that's the building behind it.
Also, Comic-Con 2020. I don't. Good job dating your comic. Also, there's no signs like this in Chicago. It's really weird.
Also, wasn't there not a Comic-Con 2020?
There wasn't. But I guess in this world, there's no COVID, so. Right? Okay. This is weird because this shadow, right? If it's this building here, that shadow should be all the way to the top. Right?
Yeah.
Like a weird, like.
This whole thing should be shaded.
All right. Other than that,
I feel like that second stoplight is sticking out too far without much support.
Well, if you look at the stoplight, it's way over here, right?
Yeah.
It's a good thing you pointed it out. Look at this street. Where's the fucking sidewalk? Guys, I don't know what city this is, but it's not Chicago. We have fucking sidewalks, okay? This is all street.
They're walking in the street, yeah.
See, like this is a sidewalk here. There should be a sidewalk that goes all the way around. There should be a sidewalk on this side. There should be a curb. We have curbs, right, where there should be cars parking. This should be wide enough. Most streets, depending on where it is in downtown, it's either going to be wide enough for one car and then parking on the side, so like 3 cars wide, or 2 lanes and then 2 parking, so it's 4 cars wide, right? Plus a little extra because it's not exactly like fucking, the cars ain't scraping up against each other. But no way is this a street in Chicago. I don't know what the fuck street this is. I don't know.
Isn't this supposed to be nighttime?
Nah. There's no.
Well, I guess like sunset.
It doesn't say. It just says third day of the waxing gibbous. So. All right. Now, Lunga's a great writer. So let's says it's talking about how this city's like any other city, but people are, just ignore the plight of their fellow man, right? All right. It says men, women, children, they wander through the city like rats. Their minds always on the next reward. Okay. It's a decent line. The visuals, however, don't fucking really convey that message. And this is where comic books and like novels and things differ, right? So if you're gonna put that, right, they're like rats. What he should have done is he should have had an overhead view of the city, right? Where it looks like a maze, where the buildings and the streets sort of resemble a maze, and you can see people going through, and then you can see like them stomping.
That would have been great
carts,
visually.
right?
Yeah.
Because that would give you the visual of what they're saying. This is just like, oh look, they're just sitting on the street. Like it doesn't really convey the message of his writing. Okay. Now it says, this is she's talking to this guy, and again, Lunga, she's talking. Okay. If we don't see her and we just see bubbles, people might assume that it's thoughts, right? We assumed early on that it was thought bubbles. It's not. So you should have put quotation marks so you know that she's talking to somebody. This is not inner dialogue. It's not inner monologue. This is her actually speaking to someone. They're not on screen, but it is somebody speaking out loud. Okay. It says, never realizing that in the building behind them, a man is having a fatal heart attack. Down the street in an alley, a woman is brutally raped. What's wrong with that, guys? I mean, other than the raping and the heart attack thing, but I mean, what's wrong with that grammatically? Come on, you're smart, gentlemen.
Down the street in an alley, a woman is brutally raped.
Is being?
Thank you. Exactly.
Being, yes.
So having a fatal heart attack, that is the present, right? So we're in the present. Someone is presently having a heart attack. In the same thought, you're also saying a woman is brutally raped. That is not proper English. we understand what you're trying to convey, but you should say a woman is being brutally raped. A woman was brutally raped. A woman is recovering from her brutal rape. Down the alley is where a woman was raped, right? If it's happening in the present, she has to be being raped. I'm saying rape a lot, and I'm going to get monetized. But it's past. Raped is past tense, right? So she's not is, right? English, Lunga. It's friend. All right. It says Rome was no different. The people were just as oblivious, just as self-absorbed. The only difference is in Rome, they rarely hid behind any self-created facade of decency. Right? Now, I didn't include the next page, but the next page talks about how they flaunt all their decadence, right? In the face of all the atrocities of the people, having heart attacks and being raped and shit, the Romans would just flaunt their good fortune, right? Which is the opposite of being oblivious, right? Oblivious means you don't know what's going on. You're just going about your shit, worried about yourself. But flaunting it implies that you know and you're doing it purposefully to say, hi, hey, look, you're suffering, but look how good I got it, right? Showing off.
It's like when Nero was playing the fiddle
while Rome was right.
Rome was burning. Yeah, that's the type of.
It's two different ideas.
Yeah,
it's contradictory. Again, I feel this is like Eric July. I feel like this was a first draft. No one, either Lunga was too stubborn to listen to anyone when they said, hey, this doesn't make sense, or you need to edit this, or he just didn't edit it because he just felt that he's just that good of a writer. Things don't work. All right. Here's another example of the writing. Okay, so this character here, Isidora, she's talking to this guy. This is the guy she's been talking to, Teddy, the whole time, right? And as you can see, now we go to boxes. Okay, boxes. That's in her brain. Right? Which is why they don't need quotation marks. But it says he does as he's told. Teddy's mind was more ripe to drive over the edge, but hers would have taken longer. She'll have to settle for being murdered. Again, this is fucking bad grammar. Here's why. Teddy's mind was more ripe to drive over the edge. So we've established Teddy has a weaker mind, but hers would have taken longer. Why is there a but? But implies it would be different, right? Teddy's mind was more ripe, but hers would have been sweeter, right? That makes sense.
Yeah.
You already established that Teddy was easier to convert. So saying, but hers would have taken longer makes no sense. You should have said Teddy's mind was more ripe to drive over the edge. Hers would have taken too long, right? Hers would have taken longer than I had time to wait around, right?
It's more like editorial review 56K. That's what's really happening. There's a lack of
grammar. It's not grammar. It's like you said. It's editorial. These are things like you write stuff, and sometimes you write things, and it
like
sounds
literally.
good in your head.
He would have. I can imagine. Like he should have given this to somebody. Take a few suggestions here and there, right? All of this would have been avoided.
All right. So we get introduced to Isidora, right? There she is. First off, I don't know what kind of chair this is, but these legs are apparently she's so fat that the back legs are now bent. Okay.
Her hand is a bit messed up. The left hand.
Yeah. But so this chair she's sitting on looks very comfortable. Looks like a very comfortable chair, right? Where did the chair go? Also, so here again, here's where I'm not an artist. I say this all the time. I have to say this, right? Because people are gonna be like, well, could you do better? I can't do better. I suck, right? But I don't have to be good at something to know when something's shit, right? If a chef hands me an over-salted piece of meat, I can go, this is too salty. I know what's wrong with it. I don't know how to correct it. I know what's wrong with it, right? Okay. That being said, this is the floor, presumably, correct?
Yeah.
These lines are on an angle. They're going up on an angle.
They're going upwards, yeah, like an upward angle.
It's like the floor is
He didn't need
going
to draw
upward.
the tiles. Like it
Yeah.
should have been just a rug, you know. There's no problem.
Well, if you would have just drew it straight without the lines and everything, it wouldn't give this appearance that it's going upward. And really bad.
It's tough. Like I know. I mean, I'm experiencing it. It's tough trying to shove everything in within a tiny panel, right? But you can avoid all of these.
Now, what's
by
this?
Making it less complicated.
That's
I have
the
no
lamp.
fucking clue.
The
That lamp
bedhead,
is making this
symbols.
fucking.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
look.
the lamp, the shadow of the lamp.
This is not how a lamp shadow works. A lamp shadow doesn't go all like this.
It's because the sun is the same angle of the lamp. It's on the horizon. That's a low-hanging sun.
Yeah, that sun would have to be directly.
You can
right
see it on the
here.
curtain, like where it comes in.
Yeah, but we all know that sunlight doesn't work that way. It should have just been a solid, like you should see the whole lamp, right? Shadow coming off.
It doesn't stretch. Doesn't stretch.
Yeah,
the thing.
it's like a weird stretch.
See the way the blood droplets are drawn on the woman's face. It makes her look like she's doing a weird face. Look at that.
All right. Speaking
The
of
mouth.
weird faces in women, all right, you'll notice he does this a lot in the comic. See this body? It's fucking copy and paste.
Mm-hmm.
He does. It's over like the laziness in the comic of someone's posed and the other thing just moves barely. So, not bad per se, but just lazy, right? Not interesting.
They only do that once in the comic because it's like an interview with a reporter where her microphone is upwards, you know.
Yeah, but even then we have stuff in the background happening and shit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They changed the angle at least for that second pair.
Yeah. So he stabs her, kills her. It's really, really bad book. So the first book, as you heard from EVS, it ends with this. In the name of Urkosa, who are you? It says, the King in Yellow's herald does not recognize me. I am the Laurel of the right? So he's this guy. He's some guy. We don't know who the fuck he is, okay? So this first issue, we don't learn anything about Isidora, okay? She says a bunch of things about a King in Yellow. She says some things about old ones and like dualities and shit, but none of it makes any sense. None of it is really explained. It is written as if you're writing fan fiction, right? And we've discussed this before on the channel when I had Scythe Jackal on. When you write fan fiction, right? Like if I'm writing WWE fan fiction, right? I don't have to explain things to a WWE fan. They know them, right? They know what a wrestling ring looks like. They know what a suplex is. They know what a body slam is, right? So I'm like, oh yeah, so The Rock just body slams fucking the Big Show, right? Then he bounces off the ropes, hits a fucking elbow. They know what that means because they're wrestling fans. They have the knowledge and the preconceived notion of what all these things are. If you are a Lovecraftian horror fan, you might be familiar with these terms, so they make sense to you. All these things make sense. As someone who isn't, right, like me, I have no fucking clue what's going on. I don't know what any of this means. I don't know what a duality is. I don't know who the fuck Hastur is. The king. You're name dropping people constantly. Like I'm supposed to know. Like even this big reveal, I am Natharla. Right? I don't know what the fuck that means.
Yeah,
is he a good guy? Is he a
even
bad guy?
Nyarlathotep presented in the most boring way possible, like with Wizard of Wordplay saying bubble live on stage.
Yeah.
Nyarlathotep is like another Cthulhu, essentially. Like he's another world-ending being, but he's presented in this manner. It looks odd.
Yeah, nothing really happened. So if you watch EVS review, you'll see all the panels. Basically, she saves a little girl who was being trafficked by her parents, her meth addict parents, gets the meth addict parents to kill themselves, discovers that there's some plot going on with some cult of some other deity, some other old one. She decides to go over there and fuck up some cultists. And then this black lady here, she was the officer that was helping the little girl. Somehow she decides to show up to the cultist warehouse at the exact same time as our hero here, Isidora. And she ends up touching the little like pendant that Isidora is holding, which we have no idea what it means other than it's like the King in Yellow's sign or some shit. She freaks out, like energy's exploding out of her. And Isidora puts her to sleep. She's scared that this like last cultist is going to do something, but then the N-word guy here, Bubbles here, saves the day. And he's like, hey, it's me. It's fucking Bubbles. 24 pages. Barely any action, barely any storytelling, world building. It's like a lot of things are said, but nothing fucking happens, right? You could have taken this whole comic and with good editing, with a good editor and a good script writer, right? Because I'm not saying that there's nothing here. I'm not saying like, oh my God, this is
there
shitty.
is. You could do a lot. Wait, you know what I would do? Here's what I would do. Start with her fighting the cultists. And you saw the beings like when we went with it went through it with Vaughn. Those beings should come out at the end. That way you make it more exciting. You know, it's just the problem is you end up you only see the strange beings in the beginning, and then they're like easily defeated. And then she's just fighting random jobber cultists at the end, only so that Nyarlathotep over here pulls up looking like Bubbles. Like you could make something more interesting by changing the events around a little bit, you know.
His hand also doesn't look right in that panel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but we could all just
Isidora's arms. Look at that.
Her, yes. At the very least, you could kind of give Bubbles a pass. Well, he's an old one pretending to be a human.
Yeah, the stylistic choice. Like I know this is sort of Mike Mignola a little bit, you know.
But at the end of the day, I would not be interested. Like this reveal doesn't hit. It's not interesting to me. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. There's no hook for me to come back to the next issue, right? Again, if it wasn't for the fact that I bought both of them together and I'm doing this review, wouldn't it continue, right? If I had picked this up at a comic shop or someone had bought it for me or it accidentally fell into my fucking bag and the guy at the comic shop was like, oh, good, I want to get rid of that because this comic's crappy and it's been sitting in the back shelf for a year. You know, I would not be interested in looking for the next issue is what I'm saying. Very bad story. But maybe it gets better, right? It's first try, first comic, perhaps it gets better. Gentlemen, don't get no better. This cover, at least I like a little better. It's got a little anime-ish influence here. Isidora doesn't look half bad. This one here is 28 pages. The first one was 24 pages. It's 28 pages. But 2 pages is a 2-page like pinup at the end. There's an ad in there. And then there's a bonus page. Guys, when you see this bonus page, fucking mind is going to be blown. Okay? Your mind. You're not ready. You're not ready for what Lunga is going to deliver to us.
I need my mind.
Well, I'm intrigued.
Okay. All right. So this is how it starts off. I wanted to include this page because we're coming off of the last issue, right? So we come to this page. And you would, again, this is where you would have got some feedback, some criticism, say, hey, that reveal at the end was kind of weak, right? Maybe have a strong opening for this comic, right? No, we get this. Chicago, United States, 4th day of the waxing gibbous. What is the meaning of this? The Eldritch energies have reached ridiculous levels. This is remember, this is an old one talking. This is how old ones talk, apparently.
It's ridiculous. It's mad ridiculous, yo.
Ridiculous.
How did you let this mortal tap into the powers of the old ones? Servant of the Yellow. Says, I did not let her do anything. I don't know. It just happened. And then we get this. This is the 3rd page. You flip over.
There
boom.
it is. That's how he should look like.
This should have been the first fucking page.
Exactly. This should be the first thing you see. That's what I've been saying. Yes.
You know, the reveal was kind of weak in the last book, right? So how do you fix that? If you would have started, open up the fucking book, boom, first page, right there, and you get the same dialogue from the last book, right? You put this off screen. You just have this coming in the name of Carcosa. Who are you? And then real big letters, fucking it's me.
They are Lathotap with the image right there.
Boom, you hit
this. Yeah,
and then you have a little box coming off of it. No, the Tharlathot, blah blah whatever. Bubbles, the ancient evil, so inconceivable that your mind would break from just the mere thought. Whatever the fuck he is, I don't know what.
Yes,
I'm just saying, right? Like, explain to the reader, convey the message. I don't know. Is he just okay? It's just a weird dude with another weird dude behind him. I don't know. He's got like 3 arms and like tentacles, and
these are like Doctor Strange villains. You know, that's how you treat them essentially.
This is all we guys again. This is the big
God.
the big reveal of who he is. No name.
It's like what happened in the ending of the first comic book, where they just say shit.
Should at least growl or something.
Now, I skipped over it, but at this point, they decide that they need to discuss what's going on, right? Because discussion, that's what I look for in my comics. They need to discuss. But prior to the discussion, this guy, Bubbles, transports Isidora and the black lady, the black cop lady, to his place. And he offers them cognac. And then he goes on to talk about cognac for several panels. It's not important to the story. I'm not interested in cognac. It does not add anything. It does not make him look, oh, look, this old one is sophisticated. He's discussing the rich flavors of cognac and how they bring out. None of that shit matters. It was just fucking waste of pages. Whatever you were trying to convey with that, I didn't get it. I was just like, can we get to the point?
A lot of wasted panels in these comics, I noticed.
Maybe he was just being pretentious that he knows about cognac.
I think so. So he says, why is a servant of the king in yellow, to interrupt him, Herald, I'm a herald, which he called her before, but he also called her a servant, and she didn't correct him the last time. But apparently now she's like, no, Herald. It says, Herald, taking the yellow sign, bearer of the yellow sign. Bitch, you just told him you were a herald. Okay? Why are you arguing with it? This guy could obliterate you. He's an old one. Why is she talking disrespectful to an old one? This makes no sense. Like, she should have some sort of reverence, or at least fear, right? Bubbles is getting mad. He says, I see you are enjoying this. You realize what I am, what I can do. Okay? Now you'll notice. Yeah, I was just gonna say, you'll notice that it is identical. These guys, when they're talking,
repeat panels. Yep.
Well, what's worse than that? Because look, he's like in this pose, talking to her, stiff, doesn't move. It's like a 5-minute. Could you imagine having that conversation just like in one pose?
Here, like bearer of the yellow sign, and then him looking annoyed, disrespected, and then at the end, like him pointing at her, admonishing her, right?
Well, like this one, I would have had him rubbing his nose. You know, you do the rub the nose and throwing your hand in the air, like whatever. But yeah, so that was why I included this, because it's literally copy paste.
Yeah, like the art looks better for issue 2, too. Like, but the copy paste problem still lingers.
It's crazy. All right. As you can see, her face has an isom problem where it's round and it's
it changes.
Square. So we get a little bit about what happened. She tells a boy here, Bubbles, that she put the king in yellow. He's asleep. And he's like, bitch, we have an agreement. None of us fuck with each other's plans. Whatever that old one's planning, I leave them alone. They leave me alone. We don't have a cosmic battle royal. And she's like, well, fuck it. I'm doing my own thing, right?
Moving differently.
It's moving differently. And it's drinking more cognac. He says, got a lot of explaining to do. Right? Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm 43 years old. In all my life, I've drank out of a glass the exact same manner. Okay. When I drink out of a glass, the bottom of the glass goes into my mouth. Now, unless he's planning on drinking this cognac through his fucking chin,
The cognac is like all over his face.
yeah,
It should be all over his face here. Look at that.
his mouth is way up here. The bottom of the rim is down here. I don't know how that works.
That's why his chin's so big. Been drinking the cognac.
It just gathers, it pulls there, and he puts his head back. It rolls back into his mouth. Is that what it is?
Like
Yep.
if they had his like jaw like unhinged to be like to show that he's like a creature in disguise, you know, then
Yeah, that would have been cool. Like you said,
That would have
like
been
here, like
interesting.
his mouth is
Again,
open all the way down here.
I don't know. For you guys who don't know what Nyarlathotep is, just look at Majin Buu. That's what he is essentially. Majin Buu is like based on Nyarlathotep.
Says y'all hope your book is anything thus good.
That's
You're talking about it now. What? Huh?
Okay. We hope so. Yes.
I hope everything is good. I don't want.
Yeah. That's why we're giving like I'm giving suggestions on how this could be improved. Like, I hope Lunga finds this useful. You know.
Man, his chin is storing drinks for later, smart man. Look, I don't relish in this, right? I wasn't like, man, I hope his comic is crap. If it was good, I would be like, look, it's really good, guys. It's interesting. Go, support
Honest
him.
to God, like Silver Surfer, but Lovecraft it's a nice idea, but like the potential, but still needs a lot of improvement.
Her face goes from this to this, like just so different. Like her nose and everything just looks weird. Just weird. So they're asking, what about the chick? What's going on with the chick? Guys, this comic is called Isidora and the Immortal Chains. Okay? We've learned very little about Isidora in the first issue. So would it surprise you to know that in the second issue, which is 28 pages, they take 9 pages to explain the backstory of the Black Cop Lady's family?
Oh no!
Yes. So
she's Larry
apparently, the Black Cop Lady is a descendant from a tribe in Africa. Okay, it's an African tribe that used to have the pendant, and they had the power, and they had the King in Yellow's favor. Okay, but the other tribes got very jealous.
The same pendant, the one Isidora has.
The same pendant, the exact same one. Coincidental, the coincidences of her showing up and seeing her. But yeah, so they had this pendant, and they brought swift justice to all the tribes and sacrifices in the name of the King in Yellow. And the other tribes got mad, and they fucking killed them. They murdered the shit out of her ancestor's tribe. But her ancestor pleaded with the King in Yellow, and he saved her daughter, right? And that daughter eventually made her way to Haiti. Eventually, the family made their way to fucking the U.S., and that's where the Black Cop Lady's from. And they're basically her ancestors telling her that it's your history, your right, your privilege. That pendant belongs to our family. We used to be the pendant bearers. Go get it back. It's yours. So we got 9 pages of that. Okay? While that was going on, apparently some creature had appeared on the street outside of Bubbles' house. And Isidora is like, hey, I got to go take care of that, right? So that happened. Then we get the 9 pages. Then we come back to it, right? This creature, they're fighting.
Oh, well, you can take a punch. It was meant to be a death blow.
It was meant to be a death blow. Boom. Was that really necessary?
Chomp.
Yeah. She took it like a chomp. Look at that. She's got a car thrown at her. It's good.
This is Gyra dialogue.
And this is the ending of the comic, guys.
What?
Entertaining indeed. I wonder how long she'll fight without using the yellow sign. That's the last image of the book.
We didn't even see the creature.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, you do see the creature a little bit.
Okay, you skipped it? All right.
I skipped it. Like I said, I didn't get every page.
Yeah, 56K, especially on that last face, the random cross hatching.
And again, I want to know more about Isidora. We should have learned, guys, your main hero, that's the person you should be focused on. That's the don't start introducing other characters and other side stories and side plots and stuff until your original character is fleshed out well enough that we don't need them anymore, right? Look at Spider-Man. Look at the old Spider-Man comics, right? We follow Peter Parker. Peter Parker, when he goes to high school, he goes home, he's getting bullied. We're with him almost the entire time. Almost the entirety of the comic is spent with Peter Parker. Then later, when we've established who he is, we can then just go, Peter's going to school, and he goes to school, and then we can go. Meanwhile, across town, the Rhino is robbing a bank, and we can show the Rhino robbing a bank and, getting up to what we don't need to follow Peter. We know we've established what his day's like. We know that as the reader. We know he's going to get bullied. He's probably going to have a tough day. It's gym day. He didn't bring his fucking uniform. Coach is going to yell at him. We know all that shit, right? So then we can focus on what the Rhino's doing and the other things. We don't know who Isidora is. We don't know who the King in Yellow is. We don't know what her plan is, what her mission, her goal. She rescues a little girl that ends up going with fucking social services, and that's it. Is she going to go around and kill all the old ones? Apparently not, because she didn't try to kill Bubbles. She didn't talk about trying to kill Bubbles. She didn't have inner monologue. She didn't have inner monologue about trying to kill the other old one, Sugar Nibber, whatever, Sugar Ninja. She didn't try to kill that one.
Sugar Ninja. We'll go with that.
Larry Suge Knight.
Yeah. She mentioned something about fighting Sugar Ninjas.
I mean, it's supposed to be shipped something, Raph, but everybody will catch you saying the Niggur.
So she talks about the duality. We don't see him, right? It would be like, hey, if you're gonna mention that guy, maybe show him. Maybe see that he's pissed that his fucking ritual got messed up, right? That's what we should be focused on. We should be focused on that. It's like the Jasmine thing, right? We're like, oh, look, there's Jasmine. And then the second issue, like, no Jasmine. Like, oh, look, there's cultists. They're going to do this culty thing. And then the second issue is like, oh, there's no cultists. There's no culty guys. What happened to the cult? What happened to the ritual? What happened to the thing that we were focused on in the first issue? Push to the side. And again, this is not a hook. Bubbles being like, wow, I wonder how long she's gonna fight without using that yellow thing, the yellow pendant. And then Black Cop Lady's eyes open up. Continued in issue 3, guys. Coming soon. This is the 2-panel. Look at that. If that was Isidora, I might not be so mad about reading this comic, guys. He included that in the comic.
Who is it though?
It is Isidora, but it's a better version.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if this was the way she looked.
Look at this. Yeah.
If she looked like this the entirety of the comic, I'd be like, oh, fuck. It's a pretty decent comic.
Maybe
some things.
Maybe Lunga had Baby Ink incorporated as a consultant.
Sweet Baby Ink consulting.
Yeah,
I said that the other day.
That's what happened.
Now you're not ready for this. This is gonna fucking blow your mind. It blew my mind. So reading the comic, that was the last page of the story, right? Boom. Then we get this page. Oh man, nice. There's one more page left. There's one more page in the book. Right? Book got one more page. So I turned this page, and my mind was fucking blown. Like,
oh, here we go.
It says
couldn't
this was
believe,
all a prank.
I couldn't believe, like, when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, he actually did this. Like, to think he did, like, this is the last page of the book, guys.
Is it one of those things that you got to cross your eyes to get an image?
No, it's just an entirely black. Like,
it's just black.
It's just black. Like, here's the thing: the paper's white. Right?
So much ink went on that.
Yeah, he literally was like, "I want the entire page black." There's not even like a word bubble or like, if her eyes had opened up and you're like zooming in, and then the last page is like the emptiness of space, and that was like what he's trying to like convey or something, right? Maybe I could like, oh, okay, but he wasted an entire page's worth of ink.
Not even a "we will win."
Yeah, not even a "we will win." Like, did you forget?
Not even a picture of him with him crossing his arms.
Again, we get 2 issues, right? I'm 2 issues into this series. Waiting on the third. It's like I said, waiting on the third. 2 issues in. I know nothing. I know nothing about the character. Here's what I know. She has chains that give her powers and immortality. She works for someone called the King in Yellow. The King in Yellow is an earthly manifestation of the old one named Haster. And there's other old ones that run around and other earthly manifestations and other creatures. And that's it.
Bubbles
I
and
know
creatures.
information. Okay. I know information. I don't know motivation. That's the key. It's a comic book. It's a comic book. It's a story. Characters need motivation. She just seems like she's like, yeah, these people suck. Like that's her thing. Like at the beginning, she's like, oh, these people suck. Look at all this. And she's telling this to Teddy. But we don't get the sense that she's saying this in order to get Teddy to commit the crime, the murder, and murder himself, right? We get the sense that she feels this way. Because there's no like.
Does she say the same things in the second book, Tony?
No, but she's just like I said, it's just a back and forth with Bubbles, and then it's a backstory, and then just more back and forth. Really boring. It's like
should have been her
issue
stick,
1 and
though,
2.
I imagine. Like she would take. I don't know. Like she might have been slighted by human beings back in the day, and so that's why she's pissed at them. It should have been a recurring theme, you know.
You got to explain it. You got to show it. You know, when she's talking about how this city is like the old here again, Lunga, you can take this. There's kernels of ideas.
There's a lot you can
right?
do. Yeah, there's a lot you can do to fix this. Yeah.
Here's what I would do. I would start all over. Start from issue 1 again. Okay. You don't have to change much of the dialogue, but you should change the visuals. When she's talking about the cities, right? It should be her in there, right? She should be like, hey, you know, people don't care. You know, people are robbing and getting robbed, beaten, you know, spit on, right? And you could show like a homeless guy in the city, and like people just passing by him, and he's like all fucked up, and you know maybe a guy spitting on him, and then show ancient Rome, and then you show she's like the homeless guy. That's why she hates people.
Yes.
That's why she's a bitch. She's explaining.
And even take it a step further, bring those people who, you know, in the modern times, like they'll bring their mobile phones and film it. Just to show like her spite has the justification, you know?
Yeah. Or conversely, if that's not what you were going for, right? If you were going for, she's just saying that to Teddy to get him to commit murders, but actually she loves humanity. Well, at some point you have to have her say that or think it, right? She's nowhere in the comic does she express that she doesn't actually believe the things that she was telling this guy while he was committing murders, right? Again, there's little kernels. You could take the 2 books, edit them down into 1 book, because there's a lot of wasted space. There's a lot of repeated visuals, right? You could fix the visuals, get that script, make it a leaner, meaner script, clarify a few things. Again, all it takes is a real simple editor's note, and to Lunga's credit, there is a part in the flashback where they're speaking in like some African language, and then it says in the little editor's box, from now on, we're gonna put little fucking things around it to let you know that it's not in English, but we're just letting you know what it says, right? So he translates, so he knows that works. Go back, put that in for the original stuff, like we talked about with the spells and shit. So we know what the fuck's going on. And again, you can take these 2 books, you can condense them down into 1, make it a leaner, meaner comic. This is way too drawn. Again, I know you wrote a novel and you're writing comics, and if you're writing comics and they're not going to come out at a regular pace, right? If you're not coming out weekly or monthly, right? And you're trying to get as much information, you got to squeeze as much as you can into each fucking panel. Every panel needs to be like a fucking home run panel. You need to put everything in there, right? Because you might not get another chance. You might not make it to that 3rd issue. You might not make it to the 4th, 5th issue, right? So you gotta condense these things down. You're not working for Marvel or DC or Image, right? You're putting these out yourself. And I was the same way. You could ask TJ and Finbar if he makes it back, right? First script was a little weak, right? We fixed it. We gussied it up a little. Even George looked at it, goes, wait, you should add this at the beginning. Go, yeah, you're right. Added some stuff, explained some more things, got the world more opened up. Because again, you only get one shot at a first comic. You only get one shot to get people hooked. And it's not like your comic sitting in a comic shop. People are going to walk by, maybe it looks interesting. Let me pick that up, right? The only advertising is here on YouTube, on Twitter, right? Word of mouth. And when you got jackasses like me going, well, it's not that good. It's not worth your money. So,
like I said, a little editing can fix this. That's all it needs.
56K says that's where the expense went. HP Black Ink.
Oh no.
So, if you haven't bought these, I don't recommend them. I wouldn't pick these up. They're not good. Not a lot happens. You could probably, if he does ever put out a third issue, you could probably just jump right in on the third issue and have no issues catching up with what's going on. Because really nothing has really gone on. 2 issues in. There's my assessment of Lunga's book. It was a nightmare, guys. It was a fucking nightmare.
I'm not gonna pick it up anymore, Tony. I was on
Let's
the
face
edge.
it, you're on the edge. You're on the verge of buying it. I was hoping, like Saggy said it was good, and other people had said it was good. And
Saggy, come on.
I was like, maybe it might be. I was like, you know what?
You never
Maybe
know.
that's why Lunga's like. I was like, maybe he's an asshole, but it's justified, right? Like he knows he's good. He's got a good book. He knows it. It's great. So he's got a little chip on his shoulder, right? Like he has now, in my opinion, unearned smugness. He's smug without actually having a good product, right? You have a good product, people don't mind if you're smug. You have a shit product. You need to be nice.
Undeserved smugness and greed.